Okay, welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, April 3. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Here.
Mr. Emmerich?
Here.
Mrs. Westfall?
Here.
Mr. Hobart?
Here.
Mr. Dunn? Mr. Jackson? Mrs. Snipes? Mr. Herman?
This is a joint meeting of the Recreation Department's Board and the Board of Park Commissioners. We welcome the Rec Department to the meeting. First of all, I have an introduction. We were told of the resignation of Levi Fox at our last meeting, and we have a new appointment, and he's now been sworn into office. I would like to introduce Mr. Jordan Emmerich as the new Board of Park Commissioners meeting member. Welcome, Jordan. Okay. Did you want to speak or anything?
No. Just looking forward to it.
We have our minutes of our March 6th meeting that have been disseminated to the members. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes?
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? They are approved. Reports. Mr. Drake, good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Do you have anything to add to your report?
I do have one item I'd like to add. Ethan Manuel is the farmer that had been doing farming the former Hules Camp property north of Duke Park, and he has agreed to renew that farming agreement. This is the second and final renewal of that contract, so that has been accepted.
This was a contract that was in writing with him in the past. And
Correct.
He's exercised his option.
It was 1 year with 2 additional 1-year renewals.
Okay. So he has exercised his option to renew, and we are merely, there's not much that we can do about it actually, but we're going to
Correct.
take action to go ahead and accept that renewal as if we could do anything else about it anyway. But I would move to accept Mr. Manuel as the farmer for Duke Park for the next year under his contract. Is there a second to that motion?
A second.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll, Abby.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Mr. Emmerich?
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
Jeremy, did you have anything else to add to your report?
I do not.
Okay.
If you can figure out how to make it stop raining, please do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a mess out there for you.
It's a little rough.
Yeah. What are you doing? What's staff doing now that they can't be outside mowing lawns?
Well, we're still getting the final preparations done on mowing equipment. We actually have some mowing we were going to start doing this week. Still hoping later in the week we will get some of that started and underway. So that's the biggest thing. Still trying to wrap up some tree removals. Got a few of those coming in that will still wrap up before we go full tilt into mowing. So actually, today was the only day we've lost in the field due to rain. So my guys have been out either in the rain and or dodging raindrops for the last couple of weeks now. So been still very busy in the field. So.
Okay. Good. Mr. Seiler is absent. I don't see him here. Mr. Boer, welcome to your very first Board of Park Commissioners meeting as our golf course superintendent.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to add to your report, sir?
Yeah, so at the previous meeting, we had discussed T signs. That's something that, moving forward, obviously we're going to need to replace those, and there was a question of how to go about doing that. So I was asked to kind of check with other area golf courses to see, particularly municipally owned golf courses, to see what they do. The 3 closest to here that I've checked with, the closest being Echo Hills, owned by the city of Piqua. They do use Golf Graphics, which is the company that we've talked about possibly using, where they do your advertising for you. So therefore the T signs are done at no cost to you. The 2 other golf courses would be Castle Hills and Vandalia. They do not do advertising on their golf course. They purchased back in 1993 granite stone and have continued to use those ever since, making minor modifications as time goes on. And then also Kitty Hawk Golf Club down in, which is owned by the city of Dayton. They kind of do the same thing. They do not do advertising. It was the city's preference not to allow that. And so that's kind of what I would add in that regard.
I know that Beaver Creek also does not permit advertising on its T.
Correct. Yeah, you had brought that up previously.
Are all of Echo Hills T signs filled with advertising, or are they?
They are filled. I can tell you that Chip Fox, the director over there, in my discussion with him, said that Tim Boutwell has been a great guy to work for, that he's never had any issue with him, and speaking with Tim, I mean, we can exercise control as much as possible over who would be advertised. The way he usually does that is to try to get as many advertisers using members at the golf club, people who are already doing business with us, trying to get them to advertise first and then branching out from there is how he goes about trying to fill those spaces.
Do you have any idea of the amount of revenue it generates for the golf course?
The amount of, it doesn't generate revenue for us, but it keeps us
It's
from,
free signs.
yeah, it keeps us from, spending, I think Ken had discussed, anywhere from 15 to 17,000 to do all the T signs. So what they do, the way it works is those T signs are then on loan. They do any replacements, they do any repair on them. Every other year, they will either fix or replace them. So it kind of takes the hassle off of our end of dealing with them. And so it basically is a T program that's free for us, but they make the money off of the advertising.
This matter's come before the board in the past, and just kind of get you up to date, Jordan. What we're talking about is the signs at the tee boxes that show where how the distance.
How the hole is laid out in the
Yeah,
distance.
Exactly. And the Board of Park Commissioners has always been leery about advertising, the commercial use of park property, because it's a public entity, and giving one private entity a leg up on something that is owned by the public, we take a very, very close look at that. The other side of that coin, however, is it's saving the taxpayers money, then maybe that's something we ought to consider. So do you have a personal recommendation, Kyler, as to how you fall within these opinions?
Yeah, I mean, my personal recommendation would be to use Tim Boutwell from Golf Graphics.
Okay. Well, what do you guys think about the advertising on the golf course?
Well, I feel like that's reasonable. The 17,000 is a big savings.
Sure.
Or, a significant amount of money. And if there's no maintenance involved because they take care of it. I'm sure there's certain colors that they use and don't use. I'm sure there's no fluorescent colors or anything like that would be distracting. I don't
No.
know. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't golf, so.
Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if there's like symmetry to the colors and there's some coordination there, that there's not a neon one sign and something else the other sign. $17,000 sounds like, it's a, and the hassle factor, right, that's associated with that. If that's kind of your recommendation and we can, solve both of those with one thing, I think it makes sense.
Well, let's take it to the next step. Mrs. Knight, would you mind contacting the law director and seeing if there's any procedure we need to follow to do this?
Actually, we have done that, and the
Okay.
law director advised that the park board could ask staff to send out a request for proposals, and that would be not to those who would advertise, but the vendor who would handle it. So, what's the name, Golf Graphics?
Golf Graphics.
So to that vendor and maybe a similar one, or if we knew of any others, then get the proposals back from them. And in that proposal, the board would define, certain things that they wanted with this company to follow, whether it be colors or fonts or size and certain advertising, if could or could not be placed. That would be the first step, would be to send out requests for proposals to select a vendor to have the access to the public property.
Kyler, are you comfortable with preparing a request for proposals? You can work with Mr. Nando perhaps in order to put something like that together and give us your recommendations on any limitations that might be in that proposal, including the type of businesses that could be advertising and things of that nature.
Okay.
And maybe we would go ahead and take a look at that next month.
And I could perhaps provide some assistance.
Mrs. Knight has always been a good resource for
Okay.
that type of thing. So.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I'll need
Mrs.
some assistance as far as putting that together.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll take an action at our next meeting then.
Okay.
Okay? Good. Kyler, do you have anything else to add?
I don't have anything else to add.
Do we have anything that we want to go ahead and talk to Mr. Brewer about? Any questions you might have? Okay, well, what's the next step on the construction out there?
So, excuse me. The next step on construction, so I had a meeting several weeks ago that included the architect, Brian Weaver, Mr. Green was there, Ken Green, Jill was there as well, along with Stan Kegley. And so right now, I've been informed that spec books as well as the blueprints are before the county building department. That's in the review process, and so once that gets approved, then we can kind of really move forward with actually getting this thing done. Yeah, that's what I would have.
Okay, good. All right, next matter on the agenda is my report from the Planning Commission. We really haven't undertaken anything that is of importance to the park board. There's no new plats or anything like that coming forth. Next matter on the agenda is any recreation board business. Marty, do you have anything?
We have nothing, just the arena's going to be very busy this spring, and I think we just announced another concert, and in the fall, it's going to be another busy time period for us.
Good. Well, my wife and I were walking in the arena the other day, and it was a really nice position to be in, so. Okay, new business. Duke Park Legion Field will be hosting the 2018 OHSAA Divisional IV Sectional and District Baseball Finals to be held May 16th and May 18th respectively. Discuss the request from the Athletic Director Dave Palmer to charge admission to those attending the games. Where is this coming from? I didn't see that in the packet.
This was, yeah, so Ken Sider not being here, he'd asked if we could present this. This is very similar to what we've done in years past, in fact identical to what we did last year. They did charge admission. Ken would take care of all the insurance requirements, field use policy. They just need to know if, you know, they block the area off and actually charge admission, since it is OHSAA sanctioned event. They've got to be able to do that, have that approval to be able to use the field.
I recall that we did approve that last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually think this is the third or fourth year they've requested to do that.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Drake concerning this matter? Do we want to take any action?
I would suggest we approve it.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the use of the facility and to be able to charge admission. Is there a second to that motion?
Second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Please call the roll, Abby.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes?
Mr. Emmerich?
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
Okay. If you would go ahead and relay that to Mr. Seibert, then, please.
Absolutely.
An update from Sue Knight regarding special events. Mrs.
Yes,
Knight.
this will be a short request. You had approved some movie nights, but because of a conflict of some scheduling that the library had, who is the partner for the movies, we would ask that the July 31st movie be changed to June 19th. And then we would also ask that the board would consider the use of Prouty Plaza in coordination and cooperation with the Pink Ribbon Girls event to be held October 19th. And that is the Pink Ribbon Girls Paint the Town Pink event was very good last year. That will be something that will have to go eventually to council for a notwithstanding agreement, but I thought if we could ask the park board now, that should be fine, and I have talked to Jeremy about the date.
Okay. And Jeremy, you're on board with all that?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We'll need a motion and a second to go ahead and approve those matters, if you're so up to it.
Motion to approve the dates.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the change in the dates and the Pink Ribbon Girls festivities on the square. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes?
Mr. Emmerich?
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
Approved.
Thank you. We also received a $3,000 check from the William H. Mayer Successor Trust, and we do that every year. We're thankful for it. We appreciate that, and we acknowledge its receipt. I don't think we have to take any action to accept the money. So, we also have a request from the Troy Senior Citizens Center. Troy Senior Citizens wrote us once again asking for permission to close the parking lot adjacent to the Troy Senior Citizens Center on Saturday, June 2nd and Sunday, June 3rd, As in previous years, those were the dates that the parking lots were closed off to enable their workers, their members to be there during Strawberry Festival, okay? We have set certain guidelines for them. For instance, handicapped individuals will still have to be able to use their parking lot, and they've agreed to all that. So I would propose that we, and I will make the motion then to go ahead and make, pass approval for the Troy Senior Citizen Center to restrict the use of their parking lot during those dates, as previously agreed. Is there a second?
I second that.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes?
Mr. Emmerich?
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
Approved.
Okay. Mr. Titterington, did you have anything to come before the commission, sir? Mr. Kegley, did you have anything?
Thank you.
Mr. Phillips, hi, how you doing? Okay, great. Mrs. Knight, is there anything else?
No, sir.
Do the commissioners have anything they want to discuss? Okay, Mr. Emmerich, welcome. Do you want to make the first motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.